Two letters, one word. Bugatti. That's not the word. Yeah. Let's go. Previously on Kimba TV. And your cluster starts there. So this box is good, right? And so you would have identified the level, and then you would have tried to be patient for some sort of edge. So would it surprise us Lions if it does some goofy shit like that? Nope. And what do we always say? We don't get bearish on the penetration. We get bearish on the retest. You didn't get a retest. This retest is only valid if it breaks the local low. Good morning. How we doing? How we doing? Bugatti. Yo. Hey, happy Friday. All right. I'm going to pound this monster. I'm going to wait for baby girl and her friend to wake up. And we going Latuche, baby. Hey, happy Friday, motherfuckers. How we doing, y'all? Sharp dances as Kimba shows up, BTC is pumping. Well, yes and no. So everybody that's here, real quick, let me pause the music because you know I'm going to Latuche you up. Does everybody know, I would say, I don't know how many times, maybe at least 4 to 5 times a week, I get people asking me, why do you watch Coinbase? Why do you watch Coinbase? Why do you watch Coinbase? I watch Coinbase in relation to SPX. I look at Binance on Trading Light, and I look at Bybit on Exo because they all have something unique to provide to me. Coinbase has what we call these scam wicks of fate, scam wicks of destiny, whatever you want to call it. And the meme is that whatever the top is, it goes and grabs it. I would say maybe 70% if it's a random number, 90%, maybe even higher if it's a round even number. Okay, and we've seen this over and over again. Last year we got to see it, I think, 6 times. The last one was the 45,000 one in December. Sometimes it grabs it same day, sometimes it grabs it next week, but it gets grabbed. And it's nothing too crazy about it other than that it's kind of meme-ish, but it's like a single print. It's like a CME gap. You know, it's just another piece of confluence that we use to know that it's going to go back there at some point. Sounds good? So yeah, it might seem like it pumped when I showed up, but as soon as this wick happened on Coinbase, I don't know if you were here when I talked about it, but I was thinking to myself, oh, this is actually like, this could be like a good short, right? Like a 43,000 bearish retest. But then this happened. So it's like, oh, fuck. Okay. But yeah, something to remember, Sharp Dan. And it's not even just about remembering the scam wick of fate. The abstract concept, the principle of it is that every exchange has something unique to offer you, you know? So that's why I watch Coinbase. I watch Binance for Binancio Magneto and Binancio Crayola. And I watch Bybit for USD specifically for the open interest and the CVD. So that's it. So, that being said, first is your short close. I knew it. Kazaki-san. There you go. I was just about to fucking say, I can't believe nobody's asked me yet. Nah, I love you. I know you playing. Quit playing with me, Kazaki. Kazaki, happy Friday, my guy. Nah, I'm just teasing you. Yeah, nothing has changed, Kazaki. Kazaki, you do know that if this bitch goes to 45, 46, I'm not going to close. I'm just adding. You know that, right? If this goes to 45, 46, I'm going to just add. So the plan really hasn't changed too much, okay? The only way that I would close it is if I thought that the 45, 46 short wasn't in play. And do you know what it would take for me to think about that? It would depend on the open interest on a swing fail here, but probably not there. It would be a swing fail on 38.5 that would make me not short 45.46. And again, that hasn't changed for the last 2 weeks. So especially today on a Friday, nothing is going to really change too much for me. I just hope that they don't go up to 45.46 over the weekend, you know, because I'm going to be traveling and shit. Jack and say Nugzar. Corolla says, I've been round trip like 3 times already, still in profits though, but wish I could have taken advantage of those other opportunities in between. Well, then don't tell me next week that you got round tripped 4 times, you know? But yeah, it is what it is. You want to try to adapt as fast as you can, Corolla. But the biggest thing is, brother, is to be emotionally prepared, right? So you don't get compromised. Do you see how like I'm literally just kind of doing what I set out to do almost 2 weeks ago in terms of this short position? It's been a fucking blast holding this shit, man. It's goofy. If you were to look at my capital inflow or whatever, it's so funny because it's just funding rate. So let me zoom in. To the upside, you have, oh, okay. To the upside, you have a 6,000 Z level at 43,550. You have a 7,000 at 43,875. And then down here, you have back to back. You have 42.5 with 8,877, and you have 42,475 with 8,333, and then you've got 5,623, 6,221, 7,000 at 42.4, 7,000 at 42,375. It's a good chunk right there. Here's your 7-day coming up. So same thing. You've got that cluster, right? Like between 44 and 44.2, which is that 44 sweep that we've been talking about this whole week. So yeah, like 70, 58, 64, 60,000, right? But then you come down here and at 41.8, you have 90,000. You know, at 41,750, you've got 50, 49, 40, 67, 78, 80, 74, 65, 62, 82. And those are all the bad lows basically. So that's just common sense, you know. 41.3. The real chunk is at 41.8, but you can see the whole cascade through here. 41.3 still has 82,000. Alrighty, so you got the scam wick of fate at 43.7, and you know, from all the high block shit, you know that there's some good liquidity right above 44, around 44.2. So like homie said earlier, man, hold on, let me pause this music. Nothing has changed. You know, you've got a 44 sweep play, but I'm not going to take that short. Alpeasy, once again, with an amazing question. Am I going to take a 44 sweep, or would I add the 44 sweep? No. But 44 sweep is possible. I would think about closing the whole short at 41.3, but it depends on the open interest. I would still take a hedge long, though, if the structure is there. And then if that long doesn't work out, then the only other long I would entertain is the 38.5 sweep, going as low as 37. So that hasn't changed. This hasn't changed, and this hasn't changed. The 44 sweep, I'm not going to take, but the 45, 46 short, I'm going to enter on TapBit and add. I hope that helps. What's going on, Rangy? My pleasure, Alex. But here's the thing, brother. You know that, what is it, like 4 more hours, the markets are going to close. I'm going to dip out, and I've got a busy weekend ahead of me, so I'll set some alerts and stuff, but I don't really care too much what's going to happen over the weekend. So just be careful. Usually when it comes to like the altcoin Bitcoin pair, since they're 2 deviations away from like where the actual liquidity and the market making is, if that makes sense, like the USD and the USDT pairs, have way more volume, right? Like ETH USDT and ETH USD volume is way more than ETH BTC, right? So for that reason, I don't really put that much emphasis on ETH BTC plays over the weekend anyways. Meaning like, even if it makes a div that I want, I'll probably wait until Monday to make sure that that gets confirmed, or it like sweeps the sweep to do some like conversion or something, you know? So like it might make a lower low over the weekend and it might do like a swing fail, but it's still like a double bottom basically type of shit, you know? This could still give me like a bull div that I want, but I would either wait for something like that or, you know, like Monday sweep the sweep, but the candle close is still a double bot type of shit, you know, and like a regular to exaggerated conversion type of shit. But yeah, make sure you have the fibs, make sure you have the divs, make sure you have the volume, the lines, the sweeps. I think the biggest thing, brother, is you have to be able to have like your own plan. And you might be able to lie to yourself, but your subconscious is going to know. So when you get down there and you start pussyfooting, like you're saying to yourself, hey man, my plan is this. But then when you get down there, you start to change your mind or you start to get a little bit emotional. That's your subconscious telling you, hey man, I'm not sure about this. Because it might not have been organically you. Have you ever seen the movie Inception where they have to plant the idea and like they need the guy to reach the conclusion organically himself or it doesn't work? Kind of like that. But I've been waiting for a sweep, a breakout, and then a bullish retest. And even we were specifically talking about something like this. And like we're getting it. So I might feel more confident about taking it or not taking it than you know. It all kind of depends on how you're understanding and seeing it. So there is no right or wrong. If you feel like you want to take a shot on ETH or ETH BTC earlier than me, you should. You shouldn't like wait for me. Roger? Snowing says, so when ETH BTC is in the area you want, does that mean you will trade ETH USDT as well? Correct. I'm not going to immediately smash open a position though. Snowing, you understand what ETH BTC represents, right? If ETH BTC is bullish, that means that you may want to allocate more capital towards ETH. It doesn't necessarily mean ETH USDT is bullish. So if ETH BTC is bullish, then that means that when BTC is pumping, ETH is going to pump harder. And it also means that when BTC is dumping, ETH will dump less. So that's why it might mean that you might want to allocate a little bit more capital towards ETH. But it doesn't mean that you long right away. You still have to do TA and figure out, basically when ETH BTC is bullish, that's when I have permission to look at possibly longing ETH USDT. But I still have to do the TA and get into a statistically advantageous entry. How do you think I feel about my own ETH BTC thing? I probably feel pretty good about what's happening so far. So I can be more confident in being patient, and I can be aggressive when I see the opportunity that I want show up than maybe somebody else that had a different idea about it. So there is no right or wrong, but that's how I think you can, get to a position, opportunity, and not pussyfoot because you truly believe it. Can you explain bull div and its meaning and decision-making process, how to spot it on the chart? Well, sure, but, I'm trying to figure out like the best way to, okay, so the first thing that I want you to do, Ready, and any other lions that are thinking that, I want you to just go to Google, type in Divergence cheat sheet, okay? And type and get this thing and print it out or save it as your background or do whatever the fuck you need to do. Okay. And then it's all up to you on spotting it. So for example, like if you have a higher high and the oscillation is a lower high, then that's a bearish regular divergence. If the price is making a lower high, but the oscillation is making a higher high, then that's a hidden bearish divergence. So double top. So like this is important, and this is one of the things that we talk about when we say the math is the math or the data is more important, is sometimes people will be like, hey man, that looks like a double top. I don't really give a shit if it looks like a McDonald's logo. What does the data tell you? So you might have one double top, which one is actually bearish? It's this one. Because that's what the data says. And your question was, can you explain the meaning and decision-making process? So the first thing that you have to do as a lion cub is you need to memorize this, okay? Because observation is not technical analysis. And what I mean by that is just because you see a bearish divergence doesn't mean you short that bitch. Now you need to go back and remember the last 3, 4, 5, 6 bearish divs and figure out if they actually were worthy of a short or not. Because if you tell me, hey man, there's a 1 hour bear div, I'm going to short it. But then I tell you, okay, but the last 10 1 hour bear divs, none of them worked, then you might change your mind, right? So that's the pattern recognition, the memory recall. In which time frame divergence cheat sheet works well? The higher the better is the general rule. I like 1 hour and 4 hour and daily. Alrighty, but again, it's pattern recognition. And the reason why I say that is because there was a 2-week time period where every single 5-minute bull div worked. You had to be there to truly understand how goofy that is. It's almost unbelievable, right? But we saw it live. So literally every 5-minute regular bull div was a long opportunity and it made a higher high. It was fucked up. So you just have to be able to see it. Obviously, the more confluence that you have, the better. So for example, let me go to like a blank area. This is the RSI. And by the way, this is an oscillation, so you can use whatever down here. You can use RSI, you can use MACD, you can use CVD, okay? And that has its own pattern recognitions that you have to have in and of itself. Do CVDs usually hit the hardest, or RSI divs playing? Are the hiddens hitting the hardest, or the regulars hitting the hardest? Okay. And the next thing that you would also want to do, brother, is you need to go to Google and type in regular divergence versus hidden divergence. I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version, but if you truly want this, you would not be satisfied with the 30-second explanation that I give you. You would actually go and do what I recommended. Roger that. So the rest is in your hands. But a hidden divergence usually means the continuation of the original trend. That is why when we were pumping and on this whole bull move up, all the higher time frame hidden bull divs were hitting. On bear markets, a lot of the hidden bear divs work because the original trend is bearish, and so it's just resuming it. Okay, regular usually means that it's trying to change the trend. So, for example, does that make sense to you why on the daily candles, okay, when I see a 2-year bear trend, okay, that I would want a regular divergence? I don't really want a hidden bull div. I want a regular bull div. And it becomes stronger and better when it's doing it at significant levels. So how awesome would it be if I could get a hidden bull div on the Kimba box off of the 2-year resistance trend line that it broke out of to do a bullish retest? it's not going to give me all of that. There ain't no way. It's not going to give me all of that. That's where we have to nut up and man up and figure out what we prioritize in terms of what we get and what we don't get as confluence. It's not going to be that easy. There's no way we're going to get all that. But you can start to see what I'm looking for, what I'm anticipating. But you're going to be able to tell, like, if the RSI is like this is more bearish because this is a exaggerated bear div, you know? And what if this level right here was pixel perfect to, what if it did something like this? What if you were coming from something like this? You see that? Now, and then like, what if this was nowhere? It's just this is a random level, okay? But so this is scenario A, this is scenario B. So you would have mathematical confluence. Imagine if you turned on the volume range profile and you had like a naked point of control or a volume point of control there. That's how you can start to compare and contrast. This short is better than this short. You have more confluence, you have more edge. Alpha Toxin says, and if there's a div in a box, hey, let's bring that back. So like, imagine like, let me zoom in so y'all can see this fucking shit. Okay, so imagine so what is that? Oh fuck. Hold on. What is that? Lower, low, higher, low. Lower, low, higher, low. That's a bullish div, right? And so that's a div in a box. I'll nerd out on PDEQ and monthly open thanks to the knowledge juice. No worries, desk slap. And forget the monthly open. The monthly open is important, but the PDEQ, and I always say it. I always make sure to say it. You have the full rotation play, but the PDEQ and the PDPOC will act as support or resistance if you're going to be trying to get into the long. Does that make sense, desk slap? And just by, if you were to just look at this, desk slap, do you see that all you really had to do was break PDEQ? Okay, let me put it back on everybody else's chat because I just have it isolated to desk slap. But anyways, we'll see this again. But I hope you can see that if your rotation is, you know, this to this, and you have this and this as support, if you break that, then there's really nothing here. So all you had to really do was, you know, turn that into resistance, and then you were gonna, what is PD? Previous day equilibrium. Previous day equilibrium. So PD val is obviously value area low, point of control, equilibrium, value area high, open, previous day open, monthly open, weekly open, previous month, value area low, weekly open, monthly point of control. So bouncing from the 41,860. So like, let's say for example, after I end the stream, like you start to go like this, you know, and then like you do a little bit of this, and then like this, but like this, and it starts to do this. it's probably going to go there. But you also know that you have a monthly point of control, previous day point of control. I mean, the monthly is a fresh month, so maybe you don't really consider that too much, but you got a lot of confluence right there. So you definitely shouldn't like don't end up being like Sato bottom shorting that shit either, because most lions are going to be TPing that probably. But anyways, desk slap, I don't think you did anything wrong. All you did was you front ran the value area high being resistance and you didn't get it. And if anything, if there's a little bit of change that we can do, you probably didn't need to have a tolerance of 43,200 and take that much of a loss. I think the invalidation would have been right around $280, maybe $300. So, and depending on how conservative you wanted to be, I would have even made you do like $200. You know, you didn't really need to swing for a 280 or 320. What you also want to maybe pay attention to in the future, if you like these kind of plays, is watch the ones that actually do fully rotating. See if it does penetrate on the first bounce or first penetration, or see if it, how does it react? Sounds good. I feel like there are so many levels that it could just bounce off of every level. But look, no, not really. So let's just ignore all the shit over here, okay? I always say this, and so you can kind of ask the fellow brothers and sisters, but the way that I've always explained the full rotation play is that if you have a daily open outside of the value zone, then if you do turn one of those outer boundaries into support or resistance, then you have a chance to fully rotate. But you also are going to have the PDEQ and the PDPOC as resistance or support. So daily open outside of the value. So if you turn this into resistance, then you have a high chance of it fully rotating to value area low with the EQ and the PDPOC acting as support. That's the definition of the full rotation play, right, desk slap? Just keep it simple. That's it. That's what we've always said, and that's always been the definition. So the only thing that I would just critique desk slap is you gotta be explicit with the definition. You front ran the PD value area high turning into resistance, and that's okay, but that was unnecessary risk. And then you had too much of a tolerance. You didn't need to have such a big net for a stop loss and take such a big loss. Okay, look at ATR. And if you really wanted to just keep it simple, you can go and take a look at all the other failed full rotation plays and see, and also pay attention to this one and what happened with this one. But on average, what kind of tolerance it has. And I think you're going to end up with my conclusion, which is, around $250, $280, $320. But longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, Bears, we're all Lions. Have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you guys on Monday. I'll put it back on Exo. You guys should be good to go. You can @me on Discord if you have any questions. If anything crazy happens, I'll post something in the den. But other than that, you guys have the levels that I'm looking at to the top side, levels that I'm looking at to the downside. You guys should be good to go. Sato, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss. Kachoi Shiba. Something like that. All right, I can't do the little scene switch. Ladies and gentlemen, love you guys, man. Have a great weekend. Kazaki Kobo, Calling Noob, Dirty Andy, Larry, Vanquisher. Yeah, I got to force quit OBS. Cams D on my signal, TS Master. Have a great weekend, y'all. Peace, everybody.